with somebody who loves you. Saw Bobby Brown the other day. Bobby Brown. Bobby! Baby!
Everyone, everybody, we're back. Thank you for being here for another episode of the heDonizm podcast. And I'm Dante, and I also go by Mecca Don to Don Mecca. Some may even call me Don. Some may even call me Tay. What up, Tay? But during this time of the year, I also go by Coach, and I also go by Ref. And if you know, you just know. So, guys, we're upon the age of cancel culture judged by the court of public opinion, and you guys know what it is. If I add some animation, if I add a little texture to the things that I'm saying, a noun, an adjective, or pronoun, or even if I drop an expletive, don't hold me to it. You guys know what it is. Say it with me. I'm just here to pod. Thank you guys again for joining, as always. But in true heDonizm fashion, I always like to start out with gratitude, and that's no exception for today. So let me just say thank you to our new listeners out there on the DSP platform. So thank you guys for joining. We are expanding, but I will say this again for the cheap seats. I do believe in organic growth. I do believe in the slow burn. I do like the process of growing. That's how you learn. That's how you inspect. And that's how you adapt. But let me just go back real quick. Our last episode we did, and I will say I, more importantly, had some technical difficulties with the audio. And it was a matter of balling it up and throwing it away. But I said, no, I want to aim to please. I want to deliver. It's not going to be 100%. It's not going to be a thou wow every time we deliver. But flaws and alls, you guys are getting it, right? I'm not saying overexpose some of the flaws, but I will say when it comes to delivering and sticking to the script of heDonizm and organic growth, that's just what I gave. Also, let me just shout out our writers, right? We had a small bulk of those to come off the strikers line to get back to the pen, to paper, to script, to live audio and action. What am I saying? Our late night shows are back, guys. They're back. I told you guys already how I love, and I mean love, the improv of a Saturday Night Live or some of your late night shows, and that was no exception over the week and even some of the weekend. I just love the Roots crew, Black Thought, Questlove, right? And then my man Jimmy just coming and delivering some of that rawness, and they brought it, right? So I know what you're thinking. The whole strike is not over. We're still in the trenches for that because, again, we're looking for the defense against AI, right? We're looking for in-person interviews. We want better benefits as writers, and all of those included in the SAG-AFTRA strike that's going on right now. So keep pounding, guys, and keep getting at it. But in the meantime, we have taken a pivot, and some of those writers are back for the late night TV shows. And after 148 days, some of them are back, and I will say they're coming with the raw. We're upon a political rain and storm of season and content right now. So you're going to be getting that like that was never before. And it took almost 4 months today. But I'll say this, they could have resolved all of this in one day had they just listened. And I will say this, this portion of the strike, or at least some of those getting back to work during the strike, should also promote other entertainment guilds that are out there and also help the striking in the auto workers industry. You guys know me. I always make a plea and a ploy, so I'm not going to exclude that today. Save the Cinemas is a piece that I love to get into and I love to promote, and that's no exception for today. So I had a chance to grab me some popcorn, right? I had a chance to purchase several tickets, right? Sometimes it's just about purchasing tickets just to save, but also to continue with the social distancing. That's okay to purchase an extended ticket if you know a theater is going to be packed, although you may have to be a little generous if someone is with a party of 3 and they just want to cluster or sit together. You may have to be a little generous in that. But again, that's just a Dante thing. But I am asking you guys to save the cinema. So go out and enjoy. What did I enjoy? Guys, I had the opportunity to go see a 3.5 hour intriguing, important, and at the same time disgusting movie. I'm talking about The Killers of the Flower Moon. Guys, this film is very important, and I'll say it again, it is disgusting. But out of the entire 3+ hour movie, I will say that it was paced very well. Yet again, it's a dark chapter cut out of American history that gave us sound, it gave us visuals, it gave us depictions and deliveries of, you guys know what it is. I said American history. Manipulation at its core. But I'm not here to throw spoilers out there because I wouldn't do that to you guys as my heDonizm listeners. So I am encouraging you guys to go out and see Killers of the Flower Moon. But I would like to drop a couple of things just for you to know. As you go into the movies, as I said before, it's over 3 hours long, but I'll say I was totally interested. Like an hour and a half in the movie, I had no clue that time had elapsed that far. So it's paced well, and I will say it will pull you in, right? It is a good script. It is good actors. It is manipulative actors. Let me just pause here for a second and ask you guys, do you remember, and this is for the old school folks out there, right? The Who Shot JR, right? How you were intrigued episode after episode after episode to find out who actually shot JR. That was the phrase, who shot JR. So in that soliloquy, I want to state that this movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, gave you minute by minute that had you glued in and want to know what's next, or you pretty much knew the outcome. However, you wanted to see how this motion picture would give a depiction of something that can be a beautiful work of art or something disgusting when it comes to American history. But as I was in the theaters, right? See, here's the difference between streaming at home on your phone, on your tablet, versus going in the movie, right? This is where it gets really good. A couple of people walked out. And it was early in the movie, so I can't say, it was 2 hours, they had to go to work. It was 3 hours, they were sleepy. No, some people just really knock back and snore and just go to sleep there. I've been one of those people, especially if it's a good sleeper. And you know what I mean by sleeper? Not exciting sleeper, not ta-da sneaker, but I'm talking about those flicks that pretty much give you the straight boredom, where you saw a movie and they said it was the best sleep I ever have, hence that was a boring movie. This one, no. I saw people walk out early, and I believe it was because of the craftsmanship of the writing, and also some of the vantage points that the movie did highlight in the earlier stages of the movie. But in addition to that, right, we're talking about being in the cinema, not streaming at home, where we can sometimes be complacent and be in our ways and also view with one lens. Well, the other lens was the human interaction. And when I say human interaction, I'm not talking about some, hey, how are you? I'm fine. And you? Oh, well, how's the weather? No, I'm not talking about that kind of human interaction, but I am talking about the elements of surprise. So as witnessing this motion picture, I did hear sniffles. And I usually try to do two things when I go into a cinema: scan the crowd, find the exit, right? But I did hear some sniffles, and I don't know what demo or what particular persons this came from, but I heard it. Because there was parts of the movies where it was just cinematography, no audio. And you just had to scan, watch, witness, and interpret. But I did hear sniffles. But I tell you something else I heard. Good old American way, right? Where we can all be in a pot and it melts, right? A melting pot. But I heard some insensitive and untimely laughter during this movie. Again, I don't want to do the spoilers. Go see it for yourself. Find time and go see it for yourself. And go in with a subjective, open mind. But a couple of people walked out and didn't return. But the nastiest part about this movie, and I'm doing everything but give you content outside of what the trailers showed, that this movie pretty much showed us that history can rear its ugly head and repeat itself. That was one of the things that I thought, wow. It's amazing how they call it the snowball effect, because it starts so tiny and can grow so massive. But I'm talking about the movie, y'all. But it's one to get your attention. You know what else is getting our attentions out there? Have you ever driven down the interstate? Right? For those of you 95 bound people, have you ever been going 95 south, 85 south, or 85 north? Right? or 95 south or north and saw a billboard that said, hey, looking for this individual suspect or persons, could be in a, I'm just giving the name of a car, not particular profiling, but a Honda 19 so-and-so edition or 2000 so-and-so edition, model, color, make, boom, da boom. And then it gives you the content of splat out, hey, the intricate details that you need high level as you're driving down the street. And then all of a sudden, here's this freaking annoying interruption of your day. No matter what you're doing, you could be in service, right? You could be in a service that doesn't require cell phones or doesn't require the rude interruptions of a ringing of the cell phone, right? You could be in a business meeting. I think you guys get the point of what I'm saying. But you guys are familiar with the alerts, right? Amber alerts. Well, did you know that out west, that they basically passed a law to be more specific, right? We already give you details, make, model, boom, 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 boom. Person could be armed and dangerous, maybe, if those are some of the facts. But did you know they have an alert now for black children and women? Let me dive into this a little bit. And I want to give facts first. There are tens and thousands of black youth and women that go missing in the U.S. every year, every minute, quite frequently. But their cases hardly grab the attention of the nation and some of our national networks to cover the fact that black youth and women go missing and the regularity of it. Well, California took a step further to address that. So Senate Bill 673, signed by Governor Newsom, went on to the Ebony alert. So I know, hold your seats, hold your seats, buckle up, because you may be thinking already, Ebony alert, Amber alert, right? When I think of the definition of amber, and I haven't looked it up, but I'm just thinking something to gain your attention. Right? Amber, thinking fire, maybe the color, right? Some of the elements of the earth are the things that I think about when I think of amber. But if you think about the history of amber, it was named actually from an individual with the name that entailed amber. But now in 2023, going towards the end of the year or fall of 2023, we're saying that there's going to be an alert that's called Ebony alert. All right, hold on. Hold on, people. Hold on, folks. Because last time I checked, the NAACP asked or were a part of this implementation. Or were they? Was the ask to bring more attention to black and brown people? Or was the ask for us to have an actual nationwide, we now interrupt your day to inform you that there's a black child missing or a black woman missing? Were those the specifics? Let's get into it. When activated, just like the Amber Alert or the Silver Alerts, and for those of you that don't know, the Silver Alerts are for more of our elderly, right, or our senior citizens. But it would inform people of missing black children and young black women. And we're talking from the ages of 12 to 25. Okay. So again, let me throw out this disclaimer before I go any further, because this is somewhat subjective, but yet disruptive thinking from myself to you. Let me ask y'all a question. Is this so-called Ebony Alert a method for people to not take action, to not jump up, to not get your phones to disrupt, but for maybe for those that don't care to say, oh, they'll be all right? Is it another reason for us to go in our settings to go, I want to turn this alert off? Because as you know, you can turn these alerts off. So more specifically, let me choose which one I want to turn off. Amber, Ebony. Amber, Ebony. I'll just turn off Ebony. Is it because the frequency of and the cadence of the Ebony alert versus the Amber alert? According to the bill's language, it's to help people of color. But it just seems like the eyeball test tells us that this clearly puts an emphasis on race rather than urgency. Now, a couple of people got involved. Your boy got involved. Y'all know your boy, Attorney Ben Crump, right? Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, a.k.a. I don't want to say it. But according to Ben Crump, this utilized an effective tool to investigate and help locate missing black youth at a faster rate. Mr. Crump, Attorney Ben Crump, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, the Attorney General of the Black people, as Reverend Al Sharpton described him. Oh, that's your name now. But Mr. Crump, would you mind sharing with us your wins and loss record? Because last time I checked, Nip, you have been known for settlements versus wins and losses. Settlements. Hey, we announced the win in this case regarding civil rights. No settlements. That's a check, y'all. Let me put it down low so even Lil Jon's people can get it, right? Guys, in sports, that's equivalent to a tie. As a matter of fact, y'all, just look it up what I'm saying about Attorney Crump. I'm not here to hate on the man. I do like the efforts that are put towards the unjust. I do like the efforts put towards the Breonna Taylors of the world. But we don't want them all to end in settlements. If you're going to fight, fight. Johnny Cochran, the Johnny Cochran firms of the world. Good, bad, or indifferent. Agree or disagree. Agree to disagree. The man fault. But this is equivalent, guys, to like a tie in sports. But this is not a new narrative. Let me just point this out. Follow me, if you will. Do you guys remember Gabby Petito? She went missing. You guys remember her. She went missing back in 2021. This struck a very aggressive look, search, and find for America. The description gave something of this nature. She was blonde. She had blue eyes. She was a sweet individual, loving individual. And God rest her soul. But later it was defined and identified that her boyfriend killed her. I mean, we have wall-to-wall coverage and endless searching for this young lady. Bless her heart. No longer with us. Killed by the boyfriend. Right? So this narrative is not new of what we are talking about when it comes to Amber Alerts. But how about let's just put this in an Ebony Alert fashion? Because you guys know I'm going to try to give you both sides, right? Well, let's call it what it is. The nation stood up because of multiple reasons. But mostly stood up because it could have simply been a case, subjective matter here, of the missing white person's syndrome.
Why not the same media attention when people of color go missing? Well, the answer actually has a name: missing white woman
syndrome. The narrative was spun mainly because some may agree, some may even say or have suggested that the narrative was spun because she was white. Not saying I agree or disagree, but maybe this happened because this was the thick era, time of George Floyd. But what it really boils down to in this situation, when it comes to her versus this, what we're seeing today, is racism. But in the same breath, I want to call it both ways now, right? I said some know me as ref, some know me as coach. I got to call it both ways. And sometimes being a truth teller is a very good way to display showmanship. So here we go. You guys remember the young lady, right? Hello, 911. I'm not sure how to report this, but there is a child walking down the interstate. Hi, yes, ma'am. This is 911. Can you repeat that, please? Yes, there is a child walking down the interstate in a diaper. Carly Russell, Dodo. For what? Some are saying mental health issues. I don't want to kill the young lady if she's having mental issues, because there's still some questions that we all have as to the why. Why, Carly? Why? And again, why? But it's because of you, Carly Russell, that makes people like me drive past an individual that could need my help for roadside assistance. You guys all know you pay a fortune for it. Roadside assistance. Is it real? Because some of us have waited on the side of the road for maybe an hour and a half, and God forbid there be traffic. You might as well catch an Uber and leave your whip. But this was the young lady that called 911 for some hot garbage because the situation was a hoax. And she admitted it. Let me put a bow on this, guys. This is currently implemented and underway in California. I want to hear from you guys. Comment down below. And let me just say to everyone, I need you to like, I need you to comment, and I need you to subscribe. But more on this situation, comment down below. Do you believe in this so-called narrative of an Ebony alert? Because it's already in place in Cali. They're doing it out west. I want to know, do you agree or disagree? Is this a way, and you guys should just see what I should do? You know what? I should just post, because the court of public opinion sometimes carry weight. I'm not saying it's judicial, but sometimes the court of public opinion do hold weight. What I want to do is post right here in this segment. I want to post some of the responses that we have seen on social media. Why? Because you guys are incredible. And I'm not just talking about black and brown people. I'm talking about people that don't even identify with being black or African American. Is this just a way for us to overlook the fact that a little brown boy or a little brown girl or a young black woman is missing? Some have went on further to say that what's next? A Latinx or Hispanic Amber Alert? An Asian alert? Are we really going to get into compartmentalizing the urgency and intent? Hey, this is all subjective, but I want to disrupt thought here. It reminds you that our country is still in a funk. Speaking of which, you guys have witnessed the funk. Shout out to Jersey. I live for the funk. I rock with the funk. But it's a brand new funk going on. And that could be Philly based or it could be Cali based. However you want to follow it, however you want to slice it and dice it. But as I switch a little bit, just rock with me, and I want to give you guys some lyrical content as to how hip-hop describes funk. It's new. It's out of the ordinary. It's rather extraordinary. So Yo Busta's commentary, a literary genius and a superior beat creator have come together, and we made a musical composition which we think is a remedy to cure all dance floors that's empty. You want to dance? We got what you want. Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince busting out with a brand new funk. Let me keep on reading because there's some intel that I think go underrated, but at the same time, if somebody show you who they are, believe it. It was kind of an accident, the way that it happened. One day I was rapping on the beat that Jeff was backing me up. And all of a sudden, he brought in a cut. And I dropped my microphone and said, what the? Hold up. Jeff, Wait a minute. Play it. He just smiled and said, yeah, deaf, ain't it? It was funky. It made you want to get down. And we knew almost at once it was the brand new funk. Are y'all following what I'm putting down here? But they went on in the song and talked about how they went home and rehearsed it, put in a cassette tape, rewind it over and over, and memorized it, rewind the tape over and over and analyzed it. So then they went to the club. And then they broke it down like this. You should have seen the people dancing and shaking and moving and jumping and spinning and clapping while the beatbox was grooving and screaming and yelling. While on the microphone I was flowing, fresh rhymes I was showing. The people said, hey, yo, keep going. So I looked to rock while Jeff was on the beatbox. Special assistance from my homeboy, Ready Rock. People barged just to get up front, to get a bird's eye view of what we call a brand new funk. Now, I've had barbershop talk with some of the fellas. Shout out to Afion Crockett, or the homies. Talking to the homies, or talking to the homies about what it is to be a dope MC or a dope lyricist, via pen or delivery. And when I mention DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, cats laugh. Because we often equate great lyrics with Tim Boots, gator suits, and big words. And we often imitate life with metaphors and similes and double entendres. Shout out to Eldon. Him and I were talking. I appreciate the support, brother. Keep rocking with me. But in this facet, you almost have to be one that came from the school of hard knocks to be identified as a dope MC. But I'm talking about DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And I want to hone in a little bit about the personas versus the individuals. And unless you've been under a rock, you've kind of missed the fact that once Fresh Prince, a la Will Smith, the thespian Will Smith, has been getting sunned in the news and also advice from the court of public opinion. But what's coming at him? Threats, beef, battle rap, everyone, everybody. It's recently been coming from his spouse, his alleged spouse. But I mentioned brand new funk, or is this a brand ill funk? Ill, as in this stinks. Is this a brand ill funk? I'm talking about a young lady, beautiful individual, might I say. Body of work is quiet, but yet sniperish, meaning deadly, like one-shot headshot. She's been going crazy in the thespian realm. Right? And I want to mention two things that I actually have here with me. If you just look around my set design, you'll actually see that I have two books here today. So consider this a book club segment of hip hop, if you will, as it pertains to the heDonizm podcast. But a lot of people have been seeing and they've been giving their court of public opinion, but has not picked up a book. You guys got to understand, some people are media trained, but sometimes people personas take over who they are as an individual. And let me just state for the record, right? I could do a whole segment on this and maybe I'll touch on it later in a different pod, but I will say that DJ, disc jockey, DJ Jazzy Jeff is one of the best living icons that we have today. His turntablism skills are incredible. His beat matching skills are incredible. His remix to delivery in a live setting is incredible. As a matter of fact, the man goes by the name The Magnificent. DJ Jazzy Jeff. I just had to call it out. I had to serve notice on anybody who may be asking questions. You don't believe me? Go Google DJ Jazzy Jeff Peter Piper routine or Peter Piper set. Blown away. Let me get into it. So Will Smith has a book self-titled Will. And it's a memoir by guess who? Will. And if you're like me, sometimes you're such in a hustle and bustle of where you can't sit down and read a book in its entirety. So I get both, right? Especially when it comes to supporting the author of the book that I might like, that may be subjective, that may be opinionated, or that I may love, right? So I'll get both. I'll get the Audible, or I'll get the audiobook, and I'll get both the hardback, okay? So in this particular case, I had to get both for Will because he did the audiobook himself. In addition to that, if you haven't read the book, pick it up. It's very interesting, but I love the background, the ad-libs, the music, and all the theatrics that he put into this audiobook along with the read was very animated, it was outstanding, okay? And it gave me a lot of answers to questions that I had inside. But Will, the book, self-titled Will, also a memoir by Will. But Oprah Winfrey went on and said that this was one of the best memoirs that she had ever read. I want to point out chapter 1. The title of chapter 1 was called Fear. And Will goes on, and I'm paraphrasing, please read the book. Will goes on and mention how often he was put in a category of being a coward. Chapter 1, titled Fear. And I want to also mention that Will's spouse, Jada, also has a book that just dropped last week. Mine was here on my doorstep the day before the drop. Okay, and it's Jada Pinkett Smith's book titled Worthy. And it's a memoir by Jada Pinkett Smith. But something told me get both on this one as well. It wouldn't be amiss. So I got the audiobook for Worthy. It didn't disappoint. However, if you understand the persona of Jada, if you look at her body of work since she first came on the scene, whenever that was, according to this book, I've lost my timeline of when I first noticed Jada Pinkett. According to this book, Jada Pinkett was that one, was always that one, and is just plainly that one. She's her, according to the book. But let me just state, for the sake and importance of the message and mission behind the book, is to provide a space to unlearn and relearn new forms of understandings, individuals, patterns, paths to defining what it means to have self-worth. The book is broken into 4 parts, and there are chapters therein. Now, I won't speak about Will and Jada's relationship. I know you guys want that tea, but I want to give you something that's blatantly obvious about the two of them. And again, I'm here to disrupt thought. I won't speak on their relationship. However, it's quite obvious that the two of them are masking an image of what appears to be black love. You know, you got couples in the hip hop realm like Remy and Papoose, who are obviously going through something, Tiana Taylor and Iman Shump, that are publicly walking down this humility or humble pie road of their departure from each other. You even have your Jeezy. I could put Jeezy and Jenny Mai right here as a third book club, but I want to hone in right now on the Smiths. But I'm talking about the persona of an individual versus their external character that you see day in, day out. I don't know, remember, or recall what could be your first time of witnessing Jada in front of a camera. Or I can't recall when you guys may have saw Will Smith in front of a camera outside of the Fresh Prince. But if you look or if you hear the details and the lyrics of Brand New Funk, it takes a certain individual. It takes a certain persona to be able to sell you a story. And let me just pause here. I've said it in a previous pod, but let me go back. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were the first rap duo, right, to win a Grammy. And there was a boycott about that because they didn't want to televise the rap segment. So a lot of rappers boycotted the Grammys at this particular time. But if you think of Parents Just Don't Understand, if you think about Girls of the World Ain't Nothing But Trouble, right? If you think about Brand New Funk and the lyrical display and how these guys displayed showmanship for the art of rap in these videos, in their songs, in their deliveries, the way they sold you the syllables of a song and a breakdown of lyrical content and bars for that matter. If you notice, DJ Jazzy Jeff was always the bland, the ad-lib, the dry persona, the dry humor, but yet his authentic self. I gave Brand New Funk, or I put Brand New Funk in this soliloquy for this reason. This was not, hey, I want to manage you guys like Big Red and the 5 Heartbeats to come on and create the 5 Heartbeats and take them along the way and drop them along the curve. No, that's not how Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince came about. Will Smith was from an old school era of freestyling in Philly when he knew he had to go battle some of the rappers to be known as a great MC. Let's be clear. He was a battle rapper. And he went to a gig where he was supposed to perform and rap, right? But his DJ didn't show. Will's DJ at the time didn't show. So Jazzy Jeff was supposed to DJ for another MC who was supposed to meet at this battle rap scene that didn't show. So you got two individuals that got half of their duo that didn't show. So Will grabs Jeff, Jeff grabs Will, and they go, well, since we're here, we might as well rock. Something to that degree, I'm paraphrasing. But this is how it went down. Jeff dropped the beat, Will got on the beat, they delivered, match made in heaven, match made in rap heaven. They're still besties to this day, or at least the aura of who they are individually to each other. They still rock with each other is what I'm saying. It takes a certain level of individual to be able to sell you an image. To me, Will Smith has mastered that imagery. Now let's go over to Jada. Pause. Keep it on Will, but let's go over to Jada. When you saw this 16 to 18-year-old looking individual show up on the scenes of In Living Color, of A Different World, we took her rawness and we took her, okay, I'm going to bite the lips, I'm going to roll my eyes, and you ain't going to talk to me like that. That was Jada's persona. According to her book, she's been that. I had no idea Jada was heavily into street life as much as she is. I don't want to give spoilers, but the book is dropped already. It's in the book. Jada's persona then meets the individual who's on A Different World. There was one episode, I said it before, had no idea it was going to tie into this. But there was one episode of A Different World where Pick and Jada's character from A Different World were head to head. And it's the late great Tupac Shakur and Jada Pinkett in A Different World. And the autonomy and the on-screen chemistry was fire. That's because of a solid given by Jada, by some of her associates to get him on A Different World. But the persona that we know of Jada is almost alignment with who she is as an individual, going back to Be More. And we talking Baltimore, Murderland, also known as Baltimore, Maryland. We're talking about two individuals that have strong personas. Again, I don't want to get into their relationship. But when you have two people that can sell you a delivery of content that is believable. I referenced JR earlier. For you young folks who don't know who J.R. Ewing was, let me tell you, you loved to hate him. Hate is a strong word, but we often carry our likes and dislikes towards people we see on reality shows and people in some scripted shows. Their characters are designed to make you go, this dodo. And let me talk about character design as I speak about Will and Jada and their personas. I've gotten a lot of ridicule for saying that, guys, don't kill me. What's Love Got to Do with It is one of the most incredible movies ever made. Now, I get ridiculed because of the lifestyle that Ike Turner had towards Tina Turner. Dante, slow down. Yes, I've caught in it. But if you think about what Lawrence Fishburne did to the character of Ike Turner versus what Angela Bassett did for the character Tina Turner. Ladies, a lot of ladies went to the gym after they saw that movie. Fellas, a lot of us thought we had swag for days after we saw that movie. Why? Because there were two different personas in character settings that made you believe who they were. There were so many quotables off of that movie. Eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake. Now, Tina, we got shows to do now. If you die on me, I'll kill you. It was so many quotables off of that movie. And I just so happened to say, look at the beauty of someone owning a character. Almost a few minutes, not hour, not segments of an hour. I'm talking about minutes within a movie. You forgot that you were looking at Angela Bassett. A nut bush. Oh, nut bush. Hey, Tina, I need you to record that again. Everybody out. You forgot that you were watching Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett. You forgot that you were watching Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. And make it do what it do, baby. You forgot that you were watching individuals that have real lives versus Ray Charles versus Ike Turner, Lawrence Fishburne, Angela Bassett. We were invested in what we were seeing. Now, I don't have to do a deep dive in someone's relationship. I'm not behind their closed doors. I'm not privy. The only person that's privy is freaking Dwayne Martin. Dude, you know everybody and everything. But obviously that's Will's homie. Pac was Jada's homie. So much so that they have childhood memories together. Pac is not here to defend the character of the relationship between him and Jada. But I believe it's recorded that he confirmed that him and Jada were close. We have physical evidence today of the tyology between Jada and Pac. Now, here's what I want to say. In Will's book, he mentioned about the relationship of his father and the love-hate, but respect and honor. Hence the term scorched earth. Will mentioned at a certain point in time, he had to deal with forgiveness of his father, although his father was in a certain state of his life. And I'm paraphrasing from the book. Again, this is the book club segment. Will said, I could at this point, I'm paraphrasing, get revenge for my father. Do something dirty and nobody would ever know. Why? Because I am one of the greatest actors on the planet at this point in time. Jada, in her book, goes on to mention about the persona of how she was about that life. And there wasn't a damn thing you could tell her about it. Her medication, her mental stability, her moments on the couch was with that of Tupac Shakur. So we're talking about two individuals who gave us a public display of Black love. Do you guys remember when the Smiths family went on Oprah Winfrey? And it wasn't just the Smiths family, it was Trey's mother and husband. And they all sat down and they talked about how Jada is a bonus mom to Trey. And yet when there are differences, because Will and his ex had a nasty divorce, but how they all were able to sit down amicably and say that, hey, we will progress as one harmonic tone versus us having hate or being declared as the baby this and the baby that and the baby this. But yet how there could be harmony even in the tone of we're not together, we're a family, we're growing, and we're together. You guys remember that? One thing I can say is, and I'll get off of this topic, is in this day and time, and I'm not saying Will and Jada are any exception, but they were really model citizens to me. Right. But what I'm sick and tired of is the lifelong lie. The lifelong lie where it takes 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years, and some people even take it to their grave, of what the eyeballs see versus what is the truth. And again, people's vows and what they covenant to each other for is none of our business. But when you tell me that the calf is golden, or when you tell me you've caught a big fish, am I to take your word for it or say cap until proven different? We're talking about two individuals that can kill a script. Jada Pinkett, menace to society, as Ronnie. Jada Pinkett Smith, and set it off. The measures, the emotions that we read from her having the guy in prison to her then going on with a drug dealing individual heading towards Atlanta for a better way of life. Low down, dirty shame. Woo, a different world. Will, 6 Degrees of Separation. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. More importantly, the episode where Will and Amos had to get together and embrace each other with real, unadulterated emotions when Will wanted to know about his dad. Independence Day, Bad Boys. And there have been many, The Pursuit of Happiness, a lot of emotional, the Venus and Serena joint, King Williams. I think I got that name right. If so, I'll take a L on that. But Will is a deliverer. Not sure if you guys were all into the last slave joint he did, like we needed another one of those. But if you look at how he got into character, oh boy, this was post the slap. But one thing I can say about the slap as it pertains to these two, if you think about all the theatrics that led up to Will walking up to that stage and embarrassing the hell out of himself and acting like a complete dodo and a straight up bully, right? You have to think, is this all a part of a rollout? And that's my bottom line. And I'm going to get off of these folks. But people today are faking relationships. But to go even a step further, some are faking breakups for the sake of likes and attention and what they're calling today a rollout for something. Everybody, I got two awesome, probably best-selling books beside me today. Great storytellers, great individuals. But the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in these books. If you really want to get into a narrative about relationships and individualisms or relationships and partnerships, read these two books. The answers are there. See, we talked about the entanglement of the Red Table Talk, but I actually follow Will Smith. I guess you can call it a fan or just, what do we call it today? A follower of an individual. Well, if you look at Will's production, he's been on a production steroid for the last 3+ years. Hence the dive and the jump. But when he brought his production, this is when I knew something was off or it didn't align. If you go back and you look at Will's social pages, more in particular honing in to his YouTube page, he was behind the scenes showing up for the Red Table Talk. Watch this. At his house. The man did not look like himself. Showing up with the production crew. He said something that just made me go to the scratching of the head. When he said, I've been away filming a movie and I don't even recognize my house. Look at this. What is this? And he had that stone-faced smile as if he's selling you something. And in retrospective, I feel bad. He went to a place that he no longer resides. He showed up at a place that he no longer lives at. He went to a place for an interview as a guest, not as a husband. When he was narrating his walk through the house, he was kind of looking around because he knew the cameras was on. And what do they say in show business? The show must go on. Lights, camera, action. And Will's walking around the house. And he's just saying, I don't even recognize this place. She has all of this production equipment now. Every room you went into, it was production, staff, writers, equipment. It looked like Paramount Studios, Warner Brothers Studios, Tyler Perry Studios, but it was the man's house, so he said. But yet we're selling this image of black love. The agreement between you and Jada Pinkett Smith is beyond me. However, in a day and time where the unions of black people, where the weddings and the public display of what black love is the fact that marriages are down, partners are up, And you guys gave us something to look in as something to believe. I'm not saying hashtag Black love, but I am saying that you guys gave us something pretty much authentic-ish, Black-ish that we could see and believe. But all of this time, it's not what it is. But what it results down to is the rollout. And again, I'm here to disrupt thought. Agree or disagree, comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Now, we're not here to ridicule the individuals of a relationship. Obviously, these two have spoken out earlier about open relationships and what that means. We don't know. Therefore, we're put in a seat of mute up the court of public opinion, onlookers. But one thing I can say, and it's disappointing for me, is we were sold personas of this is true, this is real. And it hurts to witness. Not that we invested so much in the two, but it was just the fact that it appeared to be what Mary J said, real love. The Smiths have publicly stated their thoughts and ideologies of Scientology. They've expressed public thoughts about their realms of Western quest for meditation and healing purposes. So it just kind of puts us in a seat of, what is this? Jada Pinkett is on media tour like no other. You're going to see more of Jada Pinkett that you probably ever seen in over a decade. Matter of fact, she's in Atlanta tonight. And I was contemplating to go see, to witness, is it going to be the thespian, the childhood person, or the persona gifted by the individual in the book? But I said, you know what it is. It's marketing. Do we market now at the aid of real life or relationships, or the mockery of what a relationship looks like? I don't know. But one thing I can say is we're in the age of cancel culture, judged by the court of public opinion. And I really and thoroughly hope that you guys enjoyed today's pod. I tried to be careful with my words. I tightrope some issues, but just in case I dropped something that was a little tight, a little uncomfortable, or if I dropped something that was out of pocket, don't hold me to it. You guys know what it is. I'm just here to pod. Until we meet again, guys, take care.